are in listen-only mode.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you to NRVIA Wants You. Now, what we're dealing with here is an opportunity that we wanted to present to all of the NRVIA members, all of the folks that are thinking about that they may want to join in and become inspectors, and then those that are just kind of curiosity seekers, kicking the tires. Sometimes a little knowledge goes a long way, and so that's where we're headed. This is Terry Cooper. I'm better known as the Texas RV Professor. I'm also serving as the president of the NRVIA. Now, we're having to double team this situation. I've got Mr. Steve Anderson with us. We have some other guests. We'll have a Jeff Shelton who will be with us, and we have a gentleman by the name of Tommy Waters. So we've got folks from one end of the continent to the other, and we've got folks listening in all the way from Canada all the way down to the southern tip of Texas. So, Mr. Anderson, if we're ready to proceed, let's go ahead. I may have to get you to advance the screen. And, okay, guys, if you haven't met Terry Cooper, this is he. So please don't laugh or have any problems here. This is just the way it is. I've given you my address, my email address, so that way after the show, if you have any questions, anything that you'd like to visit about, or you want some more information about these different guests that we have on board, then send me a note. Either send it to tcooper@nrvia.org, or of course to, if you'll send it to NRVIA, and then that way we'll take care of you. So that would be info@nrvia.org. Okay, Mr. Anderson, we're ready to move on. I'm having to let him do all the pushing and pushing. We've had some issues with some computers, but hey, welcome to technology. We're going to take you a little bit through some history. Some of you know it very well because you've been with us from the very beginning. Some of you, this is your first adventure. This is your first toe in the water, so to speak. We're going to share with you how we got started, what took place, some career opportunities, some training options, and I want to introduce you to some individuals that will be able to help you take your new skills, if you come on board with us, and put these skills to work so you can start doing what you want to do with your life, whether it's travel or you want to stay put and continue to live in your brick and stick home. But either way, what we know is that sometimes we need some things in our life to kind of help make the budget match up a little bit more, make things happen. And when you leave this afternoon, you'll know how you can become a part of the NRVIA family. Mr. Anderson, ready to go. For those of you that have not had a chance, I would encourage you to go to our website. And this is what it'll look like when you land on it. And it gives you an opportunity to see some things. For those of you that are kind of curiosity seekers, kicking the tires, wondering what's going on, if you'll notice on the far right-hand side, we have a free trial. Now, this course, and that's what it is, it's an electrical course, gives you a chance to see what the online course looks like. Now, in the activities that we're going to cover in this webinar, I'm going to share with you opportunities that you have, whether you can take this information online and take your course, or you can come and participate in one of the little bit more extensive 5-day hands-on courses that are available to you. So let's move on into the meat of things. Well, NRVIA was incorporated in January of 2014. And I look back now and it seemed like so long ago, so many things have taken place, a lot of water under the bridge, but yet we're still a young company. But what's amazing, the growth that we've had. I look back and I'm amazed where we started out and we had 1 or 2 inspectors, and now we're well over 300. And many of you folks are doing a tremendous amount of inspections. Some of you aren't doing very much, and that's part of the reason why I've asked our guests to join us, because I want them to participate and to be a part of the NRVIA family, so that way they can help us build the network and the institution, so that way people know that they can get an RV inspection for their RV. Now, we call it the home inspection for your RV, and I'll have to give Lou King credit for that one down in San Antonio and in the Hill Country area. When I heard him say that, I thought, yeah, that's what it is. It's a home inspection for your RV. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about, the different inspectors, how NRVIA is actually serving as kind of an umbrella for all the inspectors to be under. We have inspectors that are in the United States and Canada. Yep, believe it or not, things are rolling in Canada. We've got Rob Reese and his family up there kicking some things off. They've got some classes going. Our goal is to have we'll be moving into Ontario first and then moving over towards the west, towards the British Columbia area. We're going to talk about the training and the testing and the credentialing that you guys can get, how it came about, the code of ethics and the standards of practice, all of these things that we have put together to help connect organizations and individuals so they can get RV inspections. When we look at what a member benefits from, because that was always the big thing I had, is that if I'm going to join an organization, how does it benefit me? And that's, that's what you ask. So please understand, those of you that are looking at this for the first time, understand what we have is we have the ability to help you get some training, testing, and help you get the credentialing that you need. Once you get yourself established, then we have the opportunity for you to set yourself up with the inspector locator. Now, I'm going to say this once and then I'll say it again a little later in this activity. For those of you that are already inspectors, you're doing yourself a disservice if you haven't signed into the locator, or if you have not put your picture on there. You would be surprised how many times people contact us looking for inspectors and we send them over to the locator listing. I mean, that's really where people find you. There are companies like these that we're going to introduce you to, but there's also individuals that are looking for inspectors. And so if you're on that locator, people can find you through your telephone number and your email, but there's something about having a picture. It makes it a little bit more personal. So I want to make sure that everybody understands if you're already into the locator, you need to make sure you've loaded a photo. We want to make sure this is available to you guys full-time or part-time, regardless of what you're doing. One of the key things that I'm quite proud of is what we've been able to accomplish in 2015, and that's to create inspection software. So that way it's already done for you. The software is already being built. We have a couple that's working with us, and we've got Bob and Sally. Bob and Sally, they have been able to take this software and being able to take it to the next level. Now, I was working with it, but when you see the professionals get a hold of things, it's amazing what happens with the software and the templates. So they have really taken it to the next level. One of the big things we ran into was general liability insurance, and some of the quotes that we were getting was just knocking our socks off. And we had one of you that was an inspector that's also now an inspector manager trainer that's with us, Kevin Plashik. Kevin was able to help us through his connections through the insurance industry because he had been an agent, and he was able to help us land the general liability for $1 million. Now, you say, well, why don't I want a general liability policy? Folks, there are some companies that will not even allow you to come on their property and do any sort of work unless you have got a way to prove that you are a professional and you have the protection. So if something should go wrong, and heaven forbid, because we certainly don't want that to happen, but there's an opportunity that you have got insurance coverage that you can take care of an issue that came up. Now, along the way, we had some situations where folks say, well, I'm also a campground technician. I'm also an RV technician. What can you do to help me? And so Kevin was able to help us get an add-on to your general liability. And if you've got some questions on that, he can get that in there. But guys, I'm here to tell you, when I saw the quote that they did for the add-on to the general liability, it was amazing. It was so much less than what a lot of the mobile techs are having to pay out there. So here's an opportunity for you, another bonus to be part of it. Now, continuing education and training, there's all kinds of things going on. Now, those of you that are involved with us, that know what's going on and how things are moving along, we will be having our second conference. It'll also be in Heber Springs like it was last year. Now, this conference will be held on October the 24th and 25th, and we'll be utilizing the day before the conference and the 2 days of the conference as continuing ed opportunities. So that way you can get your hours that you need to maintain your credentials. Now, we also provide inspection supplies and materials, trying to make sure that we make it easy for you. And then, as you already know, you know my mantra, folks, we've got to look after one another. And so I look at it from the technical support through fellow members, because many times people will call one another to get a little bump or say, hey, I'm stuck here, what do you think I need to do? And so let me just say this, when you become part of NRVIA, you get all of these and so much more. Now, people have asked, now tell me about how this is working. What we have, folks, is some of you have come on board. You came and maybe you took the online class, or maybe you took the live 5-day class and that's as far as you went, but yet you have the core knowledge, you have your certification, and you are what we call a level 1 inspector. Now, basically, this is someone who's gotten your credentials. You know, you've passed your standards of practice, you've got your code of ethics, you've passed the technical, and you may be working, as we said, full-time, part-time, and there's going to be some individuals that you're going to hear from a little later this afternoon that are going to tell you, okay, I need somebody that can do VIN verification, or I need somebody to tell me about the condition of this unit. Is this thing need to be repaired, or I need to have something looked at after the repair has been done. So a level 1 inspector could take care of that. Now, there are other situations that we see with the extended service agreement companies, things that they need. What they need is people in the field to take care of and be the eyes and ears and the hands to take care of the clients, because it all boils down to taking care of the RV individual. And so a level 1 inspector would be that basic eyes on the unit to get things done. Most of these inspections are being done on but units that are being, maybe someone has applied to get an extended service agreement or maybe get some insurance on it, and that insurance company is saying, hey, I need some eyes on this thing to verify this is the VIN number and this is the condition it is. So there may be a few photos, there may be a 2 or 3 or 4 page checklist you've got to work with, but it's a very short inspection. You go out and get it done, you come back, you turn it in, and you're done with it. Now, moving on into when you look into a level 2 inspector. Now, some of you have already jumped into this thing and you have gone in and say, I want to learn, I want to do everything I can. Now, not only do you have your NRVIA certification, but you've gone on and you've taken some advanced inspection classes. Now, we call that the Learn by Doing in today's. It's 5 days long. It's so much more intense because what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to do an in-depth inspection. We have a group of 4 couples that help us, and this is what they do. They designed this program, they tuned it up, and now when you look at what they're doing and how they're helping people to move from a level 1 to a level 2 inspector, it opens up a whole new arena of opportunities for the inspector. So many times that level 2 inspector may also, where they may be working full-time or part-time, but they also may be doing some other tasks. They may be working as a campground maintenance tech. They may be working as an RV maintenance technician. I was notified the other day by a couple of dealerships that said, hey, I've got a person here in my office. They put in an application. I see that they've got their NRVIA. And so they were going to work for a dealership as a service tech. So there's opportunities that open up to you. But here again, the employers are looking for someone who knows what's going on and someone who can handle these situations that come up in looking at these RVs and also repairing these RVs. Now, let's take a look at the training options. Now, this is level 1. This is the basic. You want to get your credentials. You want to get your certification. This track is geared more towards, when I look at the online portion of it, it's geared more towards somebody who already has a little bit of knowledge. Maybe they're working as a technician, or maybe they're a little bit more experienced, they have some knowledge. And so basically what we do is we fill in some of the gaps of their knowledge to help them, so that way when they complete the online portion of it, because they sign up by going to nrvia.org, when they complete this, then they then take the Code of Ethics as well as the technical exams in order to be issued their certification as an NRVIA inspector. And so they would be able to work with some of the extended service agreement companies, some of the insurance companies that need a condition verification, maybe VIN verification, that sort of thing. So that is a level 1. Now, we typically find that individual will say, you know what, maybe I want to do a little bit more hands-on. So they'll look at this option 2. Now, option 2, you do a 5-day, what we call the training triad. Now, what you're doing here is it's a very intense technical. It's the exact same material that you'll see online, but you also get the hands-on portion of it. So we're able to coach you, bring you along, and it's been around for a while. Now, Mr. Anderson has brought up on the screen, here's what it looks like. What we have had over the last 2 years is the individuals that have come to this training triad. In it, you may be someone who just wants to learn a little bit more about your unit, Or maybe you say, I want to be able to provide some maintenance services, an RV technician or maintenance campground tech. But then there's so many of the others of you that say, I want to take it to the next level. And you develop your own inspection business. And by that, that gives you the level 2 opportunity that you're looking for, because this sets you up to start setting your position to go into a level 2 inspection. Now, if you want to know more about it, as far as slipping into that level 2, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take the next 5-day course. Now, you can't take this course online, folks. It has to be hands-on, because these 4 couples that are working and doing the Learn by Doing, it's being done across the country. And so what they're going to do is they have classes held at different places across the country. And so what happens is that you go and you spend time with it, and they're going to walk you through teaching you how to use the software. They're going to teach you how to do an inspection, because there is a method. There's a methodology that we want to follow so that way we don't miss anything. There's simple things that they're going to teach you, but also they're going to throw in also risk management issues, because there's things that you need to make sure that you say and things that you don't say. There are also things that you need to be able to look at and see it from the perspective of the customer, but also giving this customer the material they need. So to get level 2, you must have this 5-day hands-on. You say, well, I'd like to know more information about it. Well, if you'll reach out to info@nrvia.org, Robin and Stephanie can send you the schedule of where these hands-on classes are. Typically, we try to keep them below 10 people in the class, so that way it's a very intense, hands-on. You're up with that instructor. You spend part of your time in the classroom, and you spend part of your time out looking at these RVs. Typically what we do is we try to have it in an RV park, so that way you can bring your rig if you have one, and your rig is one of the things that you inspect. And you inspect some others. And there's a lot more detail with it, but long and short of it is this is what it takes to get to be a level 2, so you can do the more intense, the bigger, and more in-depth inspections that are being asked for now by the lending institutions and the banks. Now, Mr. Anderson later on is going to share with you RV Inspection Connection. There's some things that we have launched that you need to know about, but it only comes about by having a level 2 training. Now, do we have Jeff Shelton online with us, Mr. Anderson?
Can you hear me?
Hey, he's there.
All right.
All right. Isn't it amazing how technology works when it really works well?
Yep. You know, it kind of gets me a little bit nervous when we got this set up a little bit, because sometimes it's not always easy, but it's pretty flawless this time.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and let you take the lead on this, and Mr. Anderson will be able to advance the slides as we need them. Okay. And now, is Danielle, is she with you as well?
I am. Hello.
Well, we know who's really the brains in the operation, so, Jeff, whenever she wants to speak up, you be sure to let her, okay?
All right. Yep, I get to take all the credit. She does all the mapping and, put this stuff together for me, so.
We understand.
I appreciate that you noticed that, though. All right. I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Jeff Shelton, obviously here with Danielle Golden. She's our inspection supervisor. And what we are is we're part of a company obviously called Wholesale Warranties, and we are the largest provider of direct-to-consumer RV extended service contracts in the country. And we're actually a pretty, in addition to being one of the largest providers out there, we're one of the fastest growing companies in the country. We've been rated on the Inc. 5000 for the last couple of years in a row. Sounds like I'm bragging a little bit, but one of the reasons that we've been growing so quickly and been able to provide a better service than anybody else is we really scrutinize those customers that are capable of getting an extended warranty. I'll be using the word extended warranty and service contract kind of synonymously. They're actually extended service contracts, not really warranties, but most people call them extended warranties. Thought I'd clear that up. And the way that our business works is you can flip to the next slide, I think. All right, so yeah, there's our little credentials that I was bragging about earlier. We can go to the next one. One of the things that has really made us successful is that we scrutinize the customers that are able to get our extended service contracts, well, we provide the warranties to most any RV that's 2001 and newer. We do inspections on every single RV, except for those that are purchased brand new with the factory warranty. Those are the only times that we waive the inspection. And with our experiences, this really obviously helps us eliminate pre-existing conditions and eliminate those RVs that we're going to pay for breakdowns, right off the bat. And I contacted Terry about pretty much right when he got this thing launched, right when I heard about his services, because what we were really looking for was a more consistent inspection service that we can use that will allow our inspectors to hit on the most common areas that we're looking for as far as inspections. Now, I'll kind of walk you through the different types of warranty of inspections that we need, but you can go to the next slide. Up there, yeah. Oh, sorry. Actually, go to the back one. I wasn't. You can go back one more. There we go. Yeah. So we have, for instance, motorhomes are probably about 75 to 80% of our business. There's 3 levels of coverage. You have an engine and powertrain only, your coach only, and then you have a more comprehensive inspection. And obviously the type of inspection that we're going to need is going to be dependent on the type of warranty that's going to be issued. But for the most part, the most common mechanical inspections will include a fluid check, a test drive, and then we'll give you a checklist of items that need verification that they're working in proper order. There's no repairs that are really needed. These are just essentially for our internal database to make sure that this is a customer that we are willing to issue an extended service contract on. And then the next process is, you can go to the next slide. Once we do the inspection, what we've been doing is we've been doing inspection surveys. Once a customer passes an inspection, we send out the customer survey just to check up on the quality of the inspection and make sure that we want to continue to use that particular inspector. We've teamed up with a lot of the NRVIA certified inspectors already, and the surveys that we've gotten back have been great. I think we had like
all 5.
All 5 and 1 4.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case before. And we're just getting really started to recruit you guys. And whenever possible, I want to use NRVIA certified inspectors. And eventually, I would like to see it exclusively NRVIA inspectors. And this will allow us to, the surveys will also allow us to give, better quality control. And the other thing that we will let you know too is customers who fail inspection will not get a survey, just because sometimes there's a little bit of a conflict of interest, because a lot of times people aren't happy that they failed an inspection, or they're trying to slide something by and hopefully get it covered under the warranty, and the inspector caught it. So there's a little bit of sometimes that's not always a happy experience for the customer. But so that's one of the things that we've kind of taken into consideration. We can go to the next slide. So if you would like to more information on how to put your business on our list, just all you need to do is provide us with your name, telephone, and the address that you'll be working from, and you can send that to inspections@wholesalewarranties.com, and then we'll follow up with you and try to get some of your credentials and do a brief interview with you before we add you to our list. And it's pretty much as simple as that. And we're building our database, and we do an extensive amount of inspections. We're doing roughly about, I would say, 100, 150 inspections per month nationwide. So I'm really looking forward to getting more certified inspectors under our belt. And the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, you can go to the next slide if you'd like. Also, our Wholesale Warranties has created a separate website called rvrepairdirect.com. And what this is this is a website that's dedicated to helping customers find qualified maintenance and service techs. at an affordable rate, essentially. What this is replacing is we had a site that was on our wholesale warranty site that was geared towards our warranty customers to be able to find places that they could take their RV that accepted our warranty. But what we've since done is created a separate website that's going to be more universal for all RVers, whether they have our service contract or not. You can go to the next slide. And the way that this works is when any customer goes to our site, it gives a list of the mechanics in their area, and they can search by city and state, zip code, and then if you're on your mobile phone, they can actually find look at your GPS coordinates and find the nearest repair facility that's able to do the work that they're looking for. And then once they choose that repair facility or mobile mechanic, in a lot of instances, they can rate you on a 1 to 5 star basis and leave feedback based on their experience. And then each rating is independently verified, and we also allow for dispute resolution for any unfavorable ratings to hopefully get that get the customer to not post it before it goes live, and hopefully ease their concerns. And what we're going to be releasing here shortly is we're going to allow our higher listings to be provided to those mechanics with better credentials and certifications such as the NRVIA. And then we'll also take a look at the feedback scores of our customers, and then also the cost of their services. So for those level 2 inspectors and people that have their own maintenance business, this will be a great website for you to get a free listing and start getting customers referred over to you. And if you go to the next slide, to get a listing on that rvrepairdirect.com, you can just email us at info@rvrepairdirect.com and just leave us your name, telephone, and address, and we'll get back to you. And obviously, if you're interested in both, you can send an email to both or one of the emails and just let us know that you're interested in both of those services, and we'll direct you to the correct links, and we'll get you set up on the free listing and also as an RV inspector. So I can open up to any questions, or do we have that capability, Terry?
I'm taking some of the questions online now. I'll tell you what, let's do so we can kind of keep our momentum going. Would it be okay if we let people type in their question and send it to us so that way we could read it out to everybody? Would that be okay?
That'd be great.
Okay. What happens so many times is that different people have different hookups as far as their microphone and their headsets, and we have a lot of problems sometimes with feedback. So I'm going to ask everyone, if you've got a question that you want to direct to any one of these individuals, that you type in the question and send it to us, and I'll make sure that we try to respond to it. And so everybody has a chance to hear it.
Perfect.
Mr. Anderson, I guess we're ready to extend and move on to the next. We have one more gentleman I'd like you folks to meet. Tommy Waters. Now, Tommy and I go back quite a ways. He is a member of the Texas RV Association, and that's really where I met him and found out more about him. Tommy, are you online with us, sir?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. This sounds good.
All right.
Now, it's kind of one of those situations to where, when you meet people, you think, well, someday I'd like to work with these folks, and here's that opportunity. So I dropped this bomb on Tommy, about 6 weeks or so ago, and come back and visit with him again, and he's been so gracious enough to come online and visit with us about his business, so that way you can hear that there are some differences. Insurance, many times people think is insurance, but that's not necessarily so, is it, Tommy?
No, sir.
So with that being said, I'm going to ask Mr. Anderson to extend the slide one more slide. And that way you folks can see what his website looks like as well and know where he's at. So with that being said, Mr. Waters, I'm going to turn you loose, sir.
Thank you very much. And I want to say that I think this is such a necessary thing that that you've explored in the RV industry, and it's something that's needed. Our competing industries have it, and this is going to be the hardest part of your endeavor, I believe. But I wish you all the best in this. What I'd like to do, first of all, I understand that the people on this call, on this webinar, are interested into the whys. Why are we being ambitious about trying to pursue this, and what are the needs? Well, I think, first of all, you've got to understand the obstacles facing the RV industry. And I believe, this is my philosophy, I believe, and there's two. One is service industry, and the service industry is broken down in different categories I'll go over in a second. The other one is campground and destinations. We're going to put that on the shelf tonight because we're not going to talk about that. We're supposed to be talking about the service part. Let me break the service part down into why I'm so passionate about that being something that needs to be improved in our industry. The first thing is availability. Right now, there is the equal amount of availability for RV service as there was 25 years ago when I got in this industry. That hasn't improved at all. The second one is quality. I think availability and quality go hand in hand. I think that if you fix one, then you're able to fix the other one a lot more quickly and more efficiently. The components in the RVs. If you study the boat business, the marine business, and boats from 35 feet all the way up to 60 feet, and if you study that segment, which is comparable to the RV segment, and you look at how they replace components and they take advantage of increasing technology and so forth, we need to work towards that. The other point I'd like to make is the high price of repairs. Our agency has been blessed. We're very successful in two divisions. One is the RV service contract and its ancillary products for mechanical breakdowns, and the other division is property and casualty. And so we get it from different areas, from body shops and service departments and so on. And I got to tell you, our high price repairs, and Mr. Shelton, if you can hear me still, that you can attest to this. Our repair prices on these motorhomes are reaching airplane prices. And when that starts happening, then people take a second look at buying another RV, and that is the most critical factor in maintaining the RV growth. All of that leads into faith in investing in a used RV. And that's where you guys come in, or your business comes in, your association comes in. With our customers that call us that are looking into trading for an RV or even asking for a service contract if they buy it from an independent party, they are scared to death. And for about a year now, we haven't sold service policies direct to consumers because we don't have an underwriter that is allowing it or is capable of doing it. I think Jeff Shelton is the only one out there doing that, and them and Good Sam. But those customers fortunately have that resource that Shelton provides, and they're scared to death. And what they always ask is, how do I know if I'm investing this $100,000 or $130,000 in a 10-year-old RV, how do I know it all works? And until now, we haven't had a resource to refer them to. And so I think this is a perfect solution for all of that. And let me talk about some reasons why I'm so passionate about those two factors. One, remember, we put it on the shelf. It's campground and destinations. The other is service, which is what we're talking about tonight. The RV customer, 70% right now, 70% of everybody that owns an RV buys another RV. That's taken in every age group. Now, if you carve out the age group that sells their last RV, that statistic is only higher. If you compare that with our competing industries, swimming pools, timeshares, vacations, and things like that, they're under 50% repeat buyers. So what we've got is something that you can create an industry now and create a career and go forward with that. And so we need to protect that. The other thing that inspections are vital for is on our property and casualty end of the division of the agency. Is right now, last year, we turned down a record number of water damage claims. And these people buying older RVs, not older RVs, 5-year-old RVs, 6 years old, all the way up to 2000, 10-year-old RVs, they may have some water damage, and they don't know what the history of that RV is. And if they have a water damage claim, it's declined because of improper maintenance or pre-existing condition. You're the solution to that, Mr. Cooper, and that is what motivates me about this. I'm meeting with insurance companies constantly, and in fact, I'm flying out to Nashville to a conference, and this is going to be the topic of my my soapbox. It's going to be my soapbox when I go out there and say, hey, here's our solution. Our solution is to make sure that we keep up with a couple of the industries that plowed the way for us. And they're houses. When can you buy a house without a home inspection? The other one is boats. You can't buy a big boat without a survey. And we as insurance people, we make sure we mandate a survey on a boat, and banks mandate it. I don't understand why this doesn't take off a little quicker than it's taken off for RVs, the heavy motorhomes and heavy fifth wheels and so forth. So I know I'm preaching a lot of positive in terms of your deal here, but if you read all the statistics and you plug them into what you guys' business model is, there's no reason for it not to work. And also, if we can keep customers happy when they buy their first RV or second RV, they'll buy another one. Statistics prove that, and that's what motivates me on this.
And when we looked at this, that's exactly what we found. Talking to several individuals, talking to Phil Ingrassi there at RVDA, talking to some of the folks that cover and oversee some of the basic systems as far as the extended service agreement, they were telling us the same thing. Sometimes when these folks go out and look, and we're talking about the individuals, they go out and look at these RVs, and some of you guys in the extended service business know that this is a snake pit sometimes because you don't know what the history is. And so we felt like, and we still know that it's a growing industry. It's going to take a little while longer to get the word out, but I am amazed at how each month we're doing more and more inspections. And so let me direct this to those of you that are looking, saying, I'm wondering, is there something here? Folks, take a serious look. Take a look at what these folks are saying, because there's opportunities out here. And the good thing about it is you can get into it without a whole lot of money. So where can you start a business for some of the small dollar amounts that we're talking about here? So, Mr. Waters, any closing words that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I'd like to hear some questions as to, hey, what are my real opportunities when I get up in the morning? What are my real opportunities, and how do I justify this move from either a temporary, part-time, or full-time basis? And everybody says that you in the industry need RV techs, but I'm not getting opportunities or not getting offers to be hired because I don't have previous training. How do I overcome that? And I'd like to talk about that, being in the industry like we are and watching it grow in different segments but stay stagnant in other segments, and that's what worries me.
Mm-hmm. One thing I guess I want to extend the invitation to all of you. We'll be having the conference, the NRVIA conference here in Heber Springs. Please take a look at it. You can sign up over at the nrvia.org website under conference, because this would be a perfect opportunity for us to get eyeball to eyeball, and let's put our heads together and let's find a way to begin to start making more market penetration. I've been very pleased with what the market we've had and how we've been able to get into it, but it goes so much deeper than this, so much deeper. So absolutely. And then, like you say, many of you are coming to us with some technical skills, and it only seems right for you to be able to take those skills and use them either as an inspector, or RV technician, or campground maintenance tech. So what Mr. Waters is saying here, here's an opportunity for you that you can step in and you can learn, whether you learn online and get your material there, or you come and spend time at the 5-day training triad. And then if you want to go to the next level, then here's an opportunity for you to come back and do another 5-day and get the intense inspection portion of it. Because, guys, you know how these RVs are. There's all types of systems and equipment out there, and we need good eyes to be looking these things over. Let's see here. I would like to raise a comment here. Tom Johnson and his partner Barney, they have been working with us on the fluid analysis. Now, they have a company called JG Lubricant, and they are the ones that we utilize their test kits, because they've got 3 labs across the country, and they've been very solid in helping us develop a program. Now, they've worked with the the boat surveyors, the SAMs, the Society of Accredited Marine Surveyors. They've also been working with a lot of the folks in with like Marine Max. So they understand this. And so what we did is when we hooked up with them, we wanted to make sure we had the people that could help us, because what we know is that many times when a survey, when we go out and do this inspection, we survey this thing, we need to, on the motorhomes, we need to be able to pull fluid samples. And so we've had a full solid year of being able to pull samples. And what's crazy is that Tom and Barney have come back and say, guys, a little over 25% of your fluid samples are showing that there's some sort of engine problem. Now, like Tom qualified, he said, now it may be something as simple as maybe you got some fuel injectors that are hanging and spraying too much diesel into there and diluting the oil, or it may be in some of these situations where we've got bearing and piston material floating around in that oil. So anything that we can do to reduce the risk for the buyer, the lender, the extended service agreement company, all of those people benefit when we can give a good, clean picture. And that's why we need good, qualified people to help us be able to do these surveys and these inspections. Anything you'd like to add, Mr. Waters?
I just turned my mic back on. Can you hear me?
Okay, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I'd be interested in, I don't know how many people you have on this this deal, and one of the things I know that Jeff Shelton has an existing direct sale service contract. Everybody else in the RV industry prohibits that, and we constantly interview companies to say, hey, there's a market here, and the response back to us is 100% of the time that is insuring already a broken widget, and I don't have enough ammunition to combat that, and I think that with a quality, integrity infused inspector, I think that can eliminate a lot of that. I think that I think the most important thing that I'd want to hear if I'm on the other end of this is, what's the real opportunity for me? Am I going to be out doing 2 inspections a day? Are y'all going to be able to give me enough inspections and so on and so forth? Well, nobody can really answer that. This has to take off, and like I said at the beginning, this is the hardest part of this deal. And if we can get the lenders and the insurance companies to buy into these inspections and make the inspections convenient, because what's happening is we're looking for an inspector doesn't exist to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, but they're available for Dallas, Texas. Well, you go through 2 or 3 of those and you strike out, and they quit calling or quit utilizing it. So the bigger your database is, I think the more integrity that the database has and the more user-friendly it is. I think that's, Terry, I really think that's what's going to be critical in taking this thing off, is getting the lenders and getting the insurance companies on board with this, just like they are in the marine business. Nobody buys and finances a boat. Nobody does. That's fully self-contained without either an in-water full survey or an out-of-water full survey. Any of you guys that have ever bought one know what I'm talking about.
Well, you know, what we've got to be able to do is to present it to the lenders. I know I visited with some folks with one of the big bank organizations, and their comment was, well, we really haven't seen any big issues. But then when I look at their lending policies, they're very, very restrictive as to who they'll take. So I know that they want to lend more. So our whole thing is, and that's where Steve and I will be going, is out to Vegas in November to deal with RVDA, to be at their conference there. We're supposed to speak and talk about it. And we feel like this will give us an opportunity to meet with some of the, shall I say, folks that are in the know. So our goal is, quite honestly, folks, is to build the network by having relationships. But by the same token, like Tommy was talking about, you've got to have somebody that you can call when you need, when you've landed it and you've got the inspection ready to go. Already, RV Inspection Connection, and that Steve is going to talk about here in a little bit, we've had to turn down some business because we didn't have an inspector in some areas. And it's awful that you spent that kind of money on your marketing and then had to step back because you didn't have anybody to take care of it. So it's one of those things, we've got to grow the business, but we've got to grow the database of you guys as inspectors. So Mr. Anderson, I think it's about time for us to throw you up here in front and center. I appreciate you handling everything on the backside. You've done quite well. I've been looking at some of the emails and some of the messages that have been coming in, but we'll let you take it from here, and then if it's okay with you, I'll answer some of the questions that are coming in, and then also we may open it up for you and I to throw some things out, so that way if Mr. Waters and Mr. Shelton are available, we'll throw them in their direction, because I've had some questions come that people are asking specifics about them.
That's awesome. Thanks, Mr. Cooper. It's been kind of interesting being on this side of the fence running the show, and I want to thank Jeff for participating, and Tommy. You guys did a phenomenal job, and we are excited, as I know we have a lot of our inspectors online this evening, and you were asking Tommy how many people are in with this this evening, and well over 100 on board with us, and many more that will be listening to it in recorded version. So a lot of folks out there. So my job this evening is to explain a little bit about RV Inspection Connection, and what you just heard was opportunities that for the level 1 inspector, you can get out there, you can do inspections for Jeff, you can do inspections for Tommy. Those types of inspections are not quite to the depth that we're talking about that I'm going to be sharing with you for RV Inspection Connection. When Mr. Cooper and I developed this company, and we've been in business now for actually doing inspections just right at about 13 months now. And when we first started looking at this, our consumer, we felt, or our client was going to be that consumer who was purchasing the pre-owned on a private market. And there are so many hundreds and hundreds of transactions that are taking place every single year, and you see them yourselves. You see the RV sitting on the Walmart parking lot, and so on. And so it's happening, and we felt that was our market. Well, just because that's what we felt doesn't necessarily mean that's the way that it's all turned out, and I'll share a little bit about that, how we have really been doing a lot of our inspection activity on the dealership lots. But this is our big why, folks. This is what I want you to understand. Why RV Inspection Connection? And it's real simple. We're passionate about providing the pre-owned RV market the ability to be more informed in their selling. So if you're an individual with that rig that you want to sell, to be able to provide that consumer, that potential buyer, with an inspection. So it's not just you saying, oh yeah, I took pretty good care of it. Instead, we've got a non-biased third-party presentation that they're able to provide, or for the buyer who is looking at that piece of pre-owned equipment, to give them some peace of mind. And just like our little statement says here on the screen, fewer surprises equals peace of mind. And think about that, folks. Especially some of you out there on this call, maybe you have purchased a pre-owned rig and you have the stories to tell. And believe me, every time we even mention what we're doing, it's interesting, the people that come up and start telling you stories, sometimes in some very interesting places when you're traveling. So this is what we responded to. We had people say, well, who do I call to get an inspection? Where do I go to get an RV inspection done? And it didn't exist. There was not an organized company, operation, whatever type of verbiage you want to call it. It didn't exist. And we knew that there was a need, there was a problem that needed to be filled. And so what we started looking at is, how do we develop an organization, a team of individuals that at first we thought was just going to be in one part of the country. When Cooper and I first started looking at this, we thought this was going to be a boutique type of business. Well, we learned real quickly that didn't last long once people started talking about it and spreading out across the country. And so we learned real fast that we were going to have to provide this service across the United States and now into Canada, not just the United States. So here's what we provide, folks: an awareness for that pre-purchase RV buyer. We're setting up a network of certified professional RV inspectors across the United States and Canada. And folks, I'm not talking about just a few people. We're talking about hundreds of individuals it's going to take to meet the demand, to meet the need, because we're going to produce a very high quality professional inspection. And we're already doing this. And the rave reviews that we're getting from our clients have been phenomenal. So what do NRVIA inspectors look for? Now, you're saying, well, I thought you said your RV Inspection Connection. Folks, all of our inspectors, first of all, have to be NRVIA certified. You cannot even apply to contract with RV Inspection Connection if you're not certified through NRVIA. We won't even consider you, because we're going to expect you to follow the standards of practice that NRVIA has set forth. And then once we know that you are certified in that manner through NRVIA, we know that you're going to be able to take our tools and to take those, work with those, and pick up and develop, as we do on a very regular basis, a 75-plus page quality report that we're going to be able to provide to that consumer that's hired us to do the inspection. And the key thing, as my slide shows you here, number one, folks, is the life safety issues are the very number one thing. And no matter what level of inspection, that's going to be the key elements that we hit on in these reports that we do. And then, as Mr. Cooper mentioned already, he mentioned Tom Johnson and the JG Lubricant folks. We jumped on board with them as we learned about this whole concept of doing a blood test on a motorized unit. Who'd ever thought? And I can tell you, I did not. This was not something that was in my agenda, and now it is. And that is to be able to take a sampling of the fluids, send them to Tom and Barney's labs, and have it evaluated so that we can tell that individual that's looking at purchasing this rig, here's what's going on inside this thing. And that is phenomenal, folks. That one thing, we could tell you stories if we had time to share just exactly what that has meant to people already. And we're just, like I said, we're just newly into this, only a few months. Well, also what happens is we're going to find things that are wrong with these RVs. That's just the nature of it. And there's going to be repairs needed. But we follow the Code of Ethics of NRVIA. The Code of Ethics of NRVIA, if you're certified through them, simply states this: you are not going to be working on that RV if you've done an inspection on that RV for up to 1 year. So that means you're not going to come up with things that need to be repaired and then turn right around and say, oh, I can repair those for you for a fee. Because the Code of Ethics of NRVIA states that if I inspected it, I'm not working on it for 1 year. You're going to document, yes, you're going to recommend through that documentation that they have a qualified operation or a certified individual working in a dealership. Check it out, work on it, get it fixed, etc. But they're not going to be doing the repairs. But see, that's the beauty of this, folks. We provide that non-biased third-party assurance. And as the slide shows you here, ethics is something that we know we are bringing to the table through NRVIA and through RVIC, and as we get other organizations on board working with us, showing that this industry can raise the level of ethics and standards of operations so that people have a good feeling about what they're purchasing, about what they're selling, etc. So how do we fit in? We're going to provide buyer confidence. And I think I've explained that pretty well already. We're going to be assisting the extended service agreement operations to have a better quality understanding of what they're insuring. As Tommy was mentioning, we need the banks to get on board. They will in time. But again, this is not taking place as fast as we thought it might, but we are making some great headway and better information for the insurance companies, as Tommy was sharing. And I know Cooper, as well as I, have talked to different insurers and so on. This is something they have interest in. We've just got to get the systems in place, the volume of people, because we need, as I'm going to share with you, we need still a lot more folks to get involved in order to make this machine work. Well, we've also found out that, and I mentioned this earlier, we were going to go for the private consumer. That's what we were targeting at, was 60 to 65% of the RVs sold privately. That's a monumental number of RVs, folks. But what we've found is that so far in RV Inspection Connection, over 50% of the RVs we've inspected have been on dealer lots. They're pre-owned units that someone has found on that dealer's lot, and they want a third-party, non-biased evaluation of that RV. And it's crazy, but we didn't expect this. Cooper and I both started scratching our heads when this started kicking in, and we really, really did not expect this. So who are we as far as RVIC? Well, first of all, we are contracted with NRVIA as certified RV inspectors. All of our folks have completed the advanced inspector training. Okay, so it's not even an option. You have to go through that in order to even to apply to contract. We have folks that are working full-time. We have folks that are working part-time. We have folks that have full-time jobs and are doing this just on the side. We have folks that will do inspections for us they're available 1 day a week, and so on. So it just depends on what the individual's agenda is and what they need. We have folks that are ready to perform inspections and this says most states. We still got some coverage areas where we have no inspectors. We're very weak in, but one of the awesome things about RV Inspection Connection is right at about 42% of our inspectors are what are called work campers. They are living the full-time lifestyle. They're mobile, and they have the ability to actually move to different parts of the country. And so that gives us flexibility when we have need. And we are adding contractors each and every day as we move through the process of building this army that we need to cover this country. And I know this just shows the United States. We actually, as Cooper mentioned, we're moving, working with the Reeses, we're moving into Ontario, we're looking at British Columbia, and so on. And as those continue to grow, we're going to need more and more folks. Now, real quickly, so I don't belabor this too long, here's what we offer. RVIC and our inspectors provide 3 different levels of inspection. We have a very basic, we call the essential. We have the mid-range, which is an essential plus. It's a little more in-depth, and we add fluid analysis to it if it has a motorized component. And then we have the premier inspection, which is the most thorough, and this is for as it says, the most discerning buyer who wants to have the greatest amount of knowledge about the RV. And we're seeing a lot of the premiers being purchased by the folks that are definitely buying the high-end diesel pushers and the motorhomes and so on. We provide a very quality report. And so far, in the last 13 months, we've done inspections in all of these different states. And as you see, yes, that's not all 50 states. We've got some states where we have no inspectors and we have not been able to develop business. We've also been able to develop some business in some of these states and we had no inspectors and we had to turn the business down. And as we're showing you here, here's the breakdown so far of what we've done. 51% of our inspections have been the essential level, that basic level. 23% have been that mid-range level, and then 26% have been that premier level. And our inspectors, depending upon the type of inspection, determines the amount of time as well as the economics and how much they will earn in doing those inspections. So what we've done, we've performed inspections in these different parts of the country. So far, 86% of our inspections have been done on motorhomes, and 51% of those have actually been accomplished on dealership lots of pre-owned units. So it's pretty wild compared to where we thought we were going to be. We really didn't believe. In fact, Phil Ingrassi, the director of RVDA, it's 2 years ago now at the Tampa Super Show, he was really concerned that we were getting into their space and maybe would create some issues. Now he's embraced us and has invited us to be at the convention and do presentations because he's seeing the need for what we're doing. We've become RVIC. RV Inspection Connection has become an associate member of RVDA. We're developing a relationship with them, and it will be RV Inspection Connection actually doing presentations and having a booth at the RV Dealers Association Convention Conference in Las Vegas in November. And here's what I need, folks. We need 450 contracted, active, full-time, and part-time inspectors across the United States. And we have a ways to go to get to that number. And here's how you join the team. First and foremost, to even think about it, because we've had people contact us and say, well, I don't want to get involved with the NRVIA thing. Folks, then we won't be talking with you. It's that simple. We firmly believe that The standards have been set by NRVIA, and that's what we're going to live up to and work to maintain. So we're only going to contract with people that understand those code of ethics, that understand the methodologies which they should be doing business. So you've got to become NRVIA certified. You will need to successfully take and complete and graduate from the 5-day advanced Learn by Doing course. And then you will apply to contract with us, and if accepted, you will need to meet our contracting requirements, which we have a few, and here they are. You will need to have a business entity developed, and that means at least an LLC, a limited liability corporation or company. Some of you will go ahead and develop an S Corp. And you'll need to prove that you have a $1 million liability insurance policy. As an NRVIA member, you have a fantastic program available to you to get that. We will do a background check that we will actually pay for to do a background evaluation. And you will complete contracts, a non-compete agreement, have it signed, and have it on file with us. And once you have jumped through, and I know it sounds like a bunch of hoops, but once you've jumped through those hoops, then you will be able to contract with us and for us to start pushing business your direction that we can develop, as well as business that you can develop we can run through RV Inspection Connection. So here's how you find out more about us. Go to rvinspection.com. That's our website, and check us out. And Mr. Cooper, I just did a marathon agenda there in about 10 minutes, so hopefully I covered a lot of our great points, and I'm going to mute my microphone and let you have the floor back.
Well, we have quite a few questions coming in. I may have to get you to help me field some of these.
Okay.
Some of them are asking RVIC questions, and some are not. So let's move on. Now, please understand, we're dealing with two separate entities. One is the credentialing body, and that's the NRVIA. Now, what's come up on the screen here is, truthfully, in order to make this work, we need 3,500 certified inspectors. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody's going to be working at the same time. I have come out of the insurance claims business, doing, catastrophe claims and things like that. And let me tell you, there's an awful lot of claims adjusters out there. And the thing about it, they're not all working. And we know that things happen in our lives. Sometimes we can work for a while, and sometimes we can't. We've got some work campers that say, hey, I've got to take off some time because I've got to go spend time with the family. Others say, hey, I'm staying at a campground. I'm only available to work 20 hours a week. So, it's kind of one of those things. But here's our goal for 2015. We know that if we had 1,800 inspectors, we can begin to get some major traction over and above what we already have. I mean, right now, we are well in excess of 300 inspectors. But in order to be able to have the quality and to be able to work with the group that we're going to need, because that way you can pull people at any one time. People are in and out all the time. We need 1,800. Now, like Mr. Anderson said, he'd like to have 450 inspectors. Well, granted, he's dealing only with level 2 inspectors. A little bit more demanding, but it pays a lot more money. And Mr. Anderson, do we need to talk about that as far as what you guys are paying over at RV Inspection?
I was going to get into that.
Should be a question that comes in.
Yeah, I was going to get into that, Coop, but since we really didn't get into that with the other two guys, I didn't feel that was the direction I should be going. It depends on the level of inspection that we do. We pay 50% of whatever the inspection fee is to our inspectors. And so if it's a high-end diesel pusher that, and some of you may gasp at this, but it's not uncommon for our folks to spend $1,600 to $1,900 to have a premier inspection done on a piece of equipment that maybe they're getting ready to write a check for $250,000 to $300,000 on. And so our inspector will earn 50% of that fee.
So now it takes a little more time to do this. I mean, if you're looking at that Premier, you may be spending 6, maybe 8 hours working on it, doing it, getting it processed. But when that check comes, it's a big difference. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have our level 1 inspectors that may go out and, the numbers, obviously, you're only looking about an hour, 2 hours. Mr. Shelton, are you available? Do you want to respond to that in any way?
Hang on, Coop. I've got to find him on the list and see if I can. Okay. Jeff, I've got you unmuted.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
All right, perfect. Yeah, and what we do is we actually work more on a case-by-case basis. Some of the things that we take a look at is obviously how far away the inspection is, because a lot of times we'll ask the inspector to drive out to the actual unit. And then also the level of qualifications of that inspector. And we do have a few inspectors that we've been working with for quite some time. And once we get a lot of good feedback on that inspector, then obviously our rate of pay would increase. So it is a variable depending on the market that they are. So I mean, to me, throw out a number, I think it's just very dependent on the market that we're in.
Okay. Well, I guess the thing about it is if somebody wants to know the things for them to do is to reach out to you at Wholesale Warranties, wouldn't it? And
That's
you and
correct.
Daniel. Yeah.
Yep. So go to inspections@wholesalewarranties.com and give your name, phone number, and also the prime location that you'd be working out of. And what we'll do is we'll give you a call and take a look at your credentials and what type of inspection services that you have. Obviously, that's why I've reached out to the NRVIA, is because you're able to offer a higher quality inspector that's familiar with the motorhomes and RV businesses. The other companies that we've used some of them have been limited in the RV field. We're a little bit more familiar with the auto markets, so that's why I think this, I'm really excited to work with the NRVIA and get some certified inspections, because this is the only thing that I want to offer. I'm very similar to you at the Inspection Connection, where we don't have this yet where we're exclusively with NRVIA members, but that's what we're working towards. And we have the business already in place. We already have the inspections, and we have the network. We just need to find you. So please contact us, because we already have the business. It's ready. It's there for you. It's
Now,
very
how many inspections a month are you doing right now? What did you say that you guys are averaging?
over 150 inspections
Okay.
per month.
Okay. Now, a question had came up. Are you guys doing inspections in Canada as well?
That's actually probably our biggest area of concern. Danielle's going, oh God, we got excited when we heard that you had Canadian inspectors. So if you're a Canadian inspector, we have the business, and that's probably our biggest need right now.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Let's see. I'm kind of going through some of these questions to see if there might be something else while we still have you on the line that we could, have you. Let's see. Somebody asked, James asked, are you looking for level 1 or level 2 inspectors? And what I shared back with him is that you're looking for both. And
yep. And obviously we want to get the most qualified inspectors possible. So for level 2 inspectors, obviously we're going to be a little bit more. We're going to give more business to the more qualified inspectors whenever possible. But we are looking for obviously both levels. And level 1 inspectors, if they have other credentials, we try to take a look at the overall experience of the RV inspector, credentials, any references that they might have, and then also that's why we do the surveys afterwards to make sure that they're doing a good job. And we want to develop relationships with our inspectors too. So the earlier that you can get on with us and we can develop that relationship, it really helps defend against, you can really carve yourself out in that territory wherever you're going to be working, because this is a new service, and relationship, I think, is the key, and it's very, very important. It's actually crucial to this business, and this is the only reason that I know the RVIS talked about the difficulty for other companies to be able to offer service contracts directly to consumers, and this has been the most difficult challenge in this business, is making sure that the RVs are in good working order, and that's been the biggest challenge for us. And the better we can get qualified inspectors, the better off our industry is going to be, and the industry in general.
okay. What kind of work are you looking at, let's say, like in the Arizona, California, Texas, Florida areas? What kind of business do you have there?
That's probably, you just mentioned all the biggest areas that we offer service contracts. Because I think probably the reason you mentioned those, because that's the big RVing states. So I think, as a fellow RVer, when you know the industry, you know where the RVs are at, and that's typically where the inspections are. The Arizona, Florida, Southern California, where we're at, but we are all across the country.
Okay, so folks, here's an opportunity for you. It's a matter of staying in contact with Daniela so she can get you hooked up. If you don't mind, let me ask a question to Mr. Waters, see if there's anything there that he would like to add to this conversation and see if there's anything he would like to add to this. Is it possible we could bring him on, Mr. Anderson?
Hello, I'm here.
Okay. I know you've been listening to a lot of this, and I thought we'd better at least give you an opportunity if there's some things you'd like to add to your previous conversation or some things that you feel like that maybe people might be wondering that you could answer and be more direct about.
Well, I'm trying to take in consideration the panel here, that everybody that's listening, and try to keep it to where everybody sees it more realistic, or the most realistic I can present it. You know, I just got off the phone before I got onto this conference call with a claim we had going on in New York. And what happened was, it was a motor home with a turbo problem and a fuel pump problem. And when it reaches a certain threshold in our service contract program, we automatically send out an inspector to verify failure. And I think that's an industry standard, but everybody has different levels. And so the inspector goes out there, verifies failure, and then reports back to the warranty company, and they get a fee for that. And so when I say, at the beginning, when I say there's plenty of opportunities out there for people, this is where, right now, we're using a lot of auto inspectors for that job. And every other RV administrator or warranty company is doing the exact same, because it's a simple process of verifying failure. Well, what we have run into is these people aren't understanding and aren't communicating with our RV service techs, and it creates some sort of conflict on occasion. I think this can be eliminated if we can get your students and your partners to participate in that arena, and that, you know, that's something that you may not have known about until right now, and certainly your listenership didn't. And also, I don't know how that would conflict with your non-compete, but those are some of the opportunities that are out there.
Okay, Steve here. We might have lost Mr. Cooper's microphone. I don't know if he's or he's got it muted and he's just not talking to us. To answer your question, Tommy, on the non-compete, and there's been a couple of questions come in. Just within the last month, we actually have amended the non-compete for RVIC inspectors, and so that they have the capability now, not representing themselves as RV inspection connection inspectors, as level 2 inspectors, but as level 1 inspectors. They could do inspections as similar to what you're talking about, Tommy, as well as for Jeff Shelton and some of these other organizations. And so we knew it was paramount. The need was there, and we're developing a wonderful pool of individuals that can take care of this. And so it just seemed logical to make it work. So we did. Are you back with us, Mr. Cooper?
Crazy thing. Welcome to technology. I couldn't hear anybody, so I guess I felt like I was out in the north pasture here. So I'm sorry about that. Oh, Larry. No, there's so many things that come into play, and folks, please understand, much of what's being done right now, we're making history, and you're part of this, because this has never been done before. So many of the decisions, many of the things that are having to be done, we have to look at the situation and the situations that may tell us, well, does in the litmus test that we do, how does the code of ethics, how is it impacting here? I mean, we have one gentleman that contacted us, and he had gone to talk to some credit unions, and he was concerned whether or not, if he did an inspection and he was a member of that credit union, would that be in conflict? And you know, that's the thing about it. I have to say, no, I don't see that. I mean, unless you somehow or another are going to have an influence in that loan being made or not being made, I don't see how that's any sort of conflict. But it's good that you're at least asking that question, so that way we know whether or not we actually are staying true to the core of what we're trying to do, so the code of ethics. Mr. Anderson, if you'll move me another slide forward. Okay, folks, I'm going to say this again. We have a lot of folks out there that have not put themselves on the locator map. And I found out later this last week, and some of them didn't even know that they could. I'm thinking, how did we miss this? So I want to make sure that we broadcast and say, hey, folks, here's an opportunity for you to put yourself on the map so that way you can be found when Mr. Waters, Mr. Shelton, or Mr. Anderson needs inspectors out there. So here's opportunities for you. So be sure and go sign yourself up and put your picture out there, because quite honestly, people don't really know. Are you for real, or is this just some, with all the stuff we've had going on with this internet and the way things are being hacked, your picture makes a world of difference out here. It gives you credibility. And moving along, Mr. Anderson. So let's go back and let's look at how you can be a part of this team, because, that's really what it's all about. We put this together. We thought about it. So, okay, how do we go back and how do we reach these individuals to help them become inspectors? And then those of you that are already in the system, that maybe you've just signed up and you're just working as a level 1, there's opportunity for you to go to the next level, and that level being to take the learn by doing. Now, as I've shared before, we're having the conference October the 24th and 25th. Now, those of you that want to come and participate, that's great. If you will come the Friday before, so that's the 23rd, we're going to have a 6-hour conference get-together, because some of you have been with us a little while, and we want to make sure that we get you up to speed on some of the software changes, some of the opportunities that are there. Barney Gertz from JG Lubricants is going to be with us talking about on Saturday and Sunday, talking about oil and so on. We have some other guests that are going to be there. But for those of you that are wanting to step up to the next level, the Monday through Friday after the conference,
Okay, we lost Mr. Cooper. Mr. Cooper, if you can hear me, we cannot hear you. Not too sure what's taking place with his sound system there. Give him just a second. Well, I know Mr. Cooper was talking about the conference, and he's talking about what's going to be taking place on that weekend. He mentioned that on Friday it's going to be roughly from about
and
noon.
then the week before that.
Okay.
Sorry, say that again, sir?
Mr. Cooper, you were gone for roughly about a minute.
Uh-oh. We really are out in the sticks. That's all I can say. Well, I'll have to...
We're losing him again. Well, okay. Well, it looks like maybe we need to bring things to a close. Mr. Cooper, I'm going to give you one more shot here. We are not hearing you all. We're getting his fuzz. At least that's what I'm hearing. Okay. Yep. He's probably not hearing that either. Okay. All right. Well, since it looks like maybe we've lost him completely, I guess I will take the gauntlet here. Are you back with us, Mr. Cooper? Okay, nope, I think we lost him. Well, I guess I will close this up this evening and say thank you for joining us, and we hope that this information has been beneficial. We were very thankful to have Jeff and Tommy with us this evening. I believe they helped bring a new perspective for many of you that you have not heard, and I believe that's going to be very beneficial to you. So we thank you for being with us this evening, and we look forward to seeing as many of you as possible at the conference in October here in Heber Springs, the 24th and 25th. check out nrvia.org. You can learn all about it there, and we'll look forward to seeing you down the road. You all have a very good evening. Thank you.